In this video, we will hear about an issue that is currently facing the citizens of Panama. The Ngabe tribe of Panama, an indigenous tribe of the country, is being forced off of their own land due to power projects that the Panamanian government has endorsed. Daniel, a Panamanian citizen, will explain the current situation and his views on the issue.
Alright, so to tell you a little bit about myself, my name is Daniel Castro, and I was born and raised in Panama for 18 years before I decided to apply and enroll at the Georgia Institute of Technology, where I am currently a major. I'm a computer science major. And the issue I'm going to talk to you about today is about the Ngabe tribe of my country, which is an indigenous tribe of Panama, and they're the native people of the country, and sadly they have been forced away from the mainland of Panama to lands that are not considered valuable. They had been living there for hundreds of years, but it wasn't until about 20 years ago that the land that was originally theirs was returned to them. At that point, the government decided to protect the Ngabe and their homeland. Unfortunately, the current president, Ricardo Martinelli, has decided to override the previous notion and take the land back from the Ngabe. He plans to allow mining companies from other countries to invade the Ngabe's lands and to establish hydroelectric power plants that the Ngabe do not agree with. The power plant project is called the Barro Blanco project and is basically comprised of dams built within the river to produce hydroelectric energy. The Ngabe insisted on discussion with the government, acting out by shutting down the Panamanian highway in demand of the president's audience. Unfortunately, the police, who now under Martinelli have become more and more militarized from previous years, responded by killing and injuring protesters of the Ngabe tribes and essentially moving them out of the highway. The minister of the government, Jorge Fabrega, has made clear that the Barro Blanco project will not stop, that it is necessary to provide energy for Panama's growing economy. Surprisingly, a filmmaker in the country found a document that detailed the plans found that the project would produce far more energy than Panama would ever need. Though the Ngabe do not agree with this project and have not consulted with nor compensated, they are losing their homes, their land, and parts of their culture. Sadly, the worst part is they have nowhere else to go.
So Daniel, how do you feel about this issue? What do you think should be done for the Ngabe tribe?
So personally, I disagree with the actions of the government. I think it's really wrong that the government is deliberately just taking their land without consulting them. I agree with a request from the United Nations that they should move to peaceful discussions in order to settle the dispute without the use of force. Personally, I just disagree. I also disagree with the native tribes because they went to the streets to protest it, specifically because they went to the Pan American Highway, which is a highly used street that comes all the way from Canada down to Panama, and then for the exception of the border with Colombia, it goes all the way to Argentina. It's a very highly trafficked road, and blocking that road is kind of a little unnecessary, but at the same time their voices weren't being heard. The Ngabe tribe just lost their land without consultation, so I don't blame them for their actions, but I also don't blame the government for responding adequately because they wanted essentially to take to the highway to be back in transit, because stopping that transit essentially stops the entire economy. So I'm kind of in agreeable and disagreeable with actions on both sides, but I really hope they move to peaceful discussions and a reasonable treaty, because either both sides doing actions without consulting the other is simply going to cause more conflict and more deaths, which is essentially what we don't want.
The Ngabe tribe and the many other indigenous tribes of Panama hold a special place in the culture of the country. They were the first true Panamanians, and many of them still strongly hold on to their beliefs and traditions. The Ngabe have created schools in which they can teach the new generations the language of their tribe and other traditions that they wish to pass on. Without a home and access to create a place to hold these lessons, they will be unable to pass these traditions on. Hopefully, this political issue that has been brought to attention will be settled peacefully so that they can continue to impact the culture of Panama and so that their own pieces of culture may live on.